So welcome to Resto Designs, guys, and before we get into today's video, let's have a word from the sponsor, which is me, restodesigns.com. Now, there's a few things on the website. I've had a few questions actually on this stuff online. I think someone's asked for electric windows a few times. Basically, if the stuff's listed, I've got it. When it's actually out of stock, it will say out of stock, no longer available. All right, but let's get back on track and actually what's going on the website today. So the reason why I'm showing you these three things is because they're going to be listed separately because they're all slightly different. But first, let's start with cassette box for the Mk3 Fisher illumination one. These go on eBay for quite a silly amount of money, actually. This is going to be going on for probably about £45. So it's not going to hang around for long. It's going to be basically half the price of the other stuff that's actually on eBay, and it's all working. And like I said, it's illuminated, so it's a nice little retro touch for your Mk3 Golf. Next up, Mk2 stuff. So this is the central console. So if you want kind of like that early Type 19 C look, yep, you have that. And then also what you need is this little trim bit, which is quite rare, which this actually goes in the middle between the two kind of pockets and the dashboard, and actually covers kind of the heater box. So that's like a set. Again, these are quite rare. That's going on the website. I don't know how much these are going to be wanted, but I've had these laying around. And the main reason for the website is actually so I can get rid of stock that I've got laying around for years and years and years. Help you guys out, as well as helps me out, gets clear of some of the stock of stuff that I've got laying around for many, many years that I've accumulated as a hoarder. So these are two 16 valve KR ECUs. There's two of them there. They'll be listed, you know, they're the same really, they're not any different. The part numbers are the same. I think these are the green ones. I can't remember if the green ones were the ones that actually had the higher RPM limit of 7.3, whereas I think there was a blue one, or I can't remember the color, which had the rev limit of 7.1. So these might be early KR ones, which is what I think they are. It's got a slightly more aggressive ignition curve on them, apparently. But yeah, so those are going to go on the website. Now, the reason why I've done these individually is because, and they will be listed on the website individually. So this will be number one. It's complete with even that little picklet or the little pin there kind of thing. And the reason why is they're all intact, but all of them have little cracks. So this one has like a little crack on there. It could be glued, could be fixed. I'm not going to do that. You guys can, I'm not going to, pull the wool over anybody's eyes. It's there. You can repair it with what you feel like you want to repair it with, but it's still there, all intact. So that would be item one of the grill. Grill two, again, it's all complete with that, everything there. All of these are intact. Now, I think this one is cracked in a different place. So that one's actually good. I think it's cracked slightly just there in the middle one. Again, can easily be repaired. I'm not going to repair it. You guys can repair it as you please and as you see fit, but it's complete with a slight crack in the middle. Item three, again, fairly good condition. Yes, could do a bit of a clean, a bit of detailing. It's actually missing that little kind of pin bit there. And again, the bit that's actually broken is that middle bit there, which again can be repaired, but it's complete apart from that little kind of location pin there, which is quite common to go. So those are going to be listed item 1, 2, and 3, so you'll know which one you're going to be getting. Now, back onto 3D item products. I had an idea. I'm really getting to grip with the program of designing stuff, and I've got loads of ideas. Sometimes having loads of ideas, you kind of don't have the skills to actually produce the stuff, or if you do have the skills to produce the stuff, you don't have any ideas. I'm working around, I'm the latter. Got loads of ideas, but not lots of skill on computer to actually get these made. But I've made, I think, about 5 or 6 of these different drawings to kind of get this perfect. And this was actually, this gray one, the gray stuff is actually just normal PLA. I won't be selling that. You're going to use stuff that's actually, resistant to UV light as well as heat and stuff like this. This stuff is not very good. So be aware of PLA products if you're using it on your car, especially on the outside of the car. Yeah, so this is a prototype. The end product is made out of a stronger material. Basically, all you do is you remove the inner headlight, spotlight on your Hella Golf Mk3. Actually, this is for the Golf Mk3 twin Hella rounds. You remove kind of the 3 little bits that hold it on there, and you literally just put a screw through. You don't over tighten it because you don't need to really over tighten it. It's got like, I think, a 4mm hole, so you can put a nice screw in there, and it's actually quite deep as well. So you can just kind of put the screw in, and the actual original item is actually slightly longer than this one, so you can get a hose on there quite comfortably. It is a tight fit to the plug. Yep, you might need to do something with that, but that's the best I could do, is kind of pull it up and get it as close as I can. And these are gonna be going up on the website for £35. Now, there is a deal on at the moment with my good friend Sol at Heart and Soul Paintworks in the UK. So if you're in the UK, you can pick these up for a little bit cheaper. He's getting the stock. He'll be the UK supplier of these. He's got 10 coming in. This is the actual finished stuff. The outside finish was really, really nice. The inside's a little bit rough, unfortunately, so you will need to actually finish this off with a bit of sandpaper, and then you can give it a light coat of plastic spray, that kind of bumper spray and stuff. And as you can see, it's a bit longer, so it protrudes further at the back, so you're able to get a hose on here. Again, when you clamp it up, don't over clamp it. Yes, it is strong, but it's not that strong. Don't go over clamping these. But yes, so that's going to be going on all the website this evening, guys, as you watch the video. Now, talking about the video, let's get onto this Golf Mark 1 that's been around like a bad smell, and it finally goes out the door. Enjoy the video, guys.
So what's going on YouTube? Today we're back on the GLI, the old Mark 1 convertible. The original 1981 1.6 was running K-Jet. Now it's running a 2E. Well, it's trying to run a 2E on standard management. And if you saw the first video on this, it was a bit of a nightmare. I rewired some of the front wiring, sorted out a whole lot of issues with it. Will it start? No. It looked like the ECU had been blown because the wiring was all kind of loose there. The car was also out. The timing was out by a whole load of teeth. I don't know how it didn't bend anything. I've checked fuel pressure, I've checked compression, everything's good on the car. The ECU's blown. We couldn't find a replacement ECU because the plug on it seems to be a little bit different. It isn't kind of the slide and lock one like this. It was like a little clip-on one. So as a 2E, and it was Bosch on the actual ECU, yeah, it was a 2E, it was a Siemens inside, so it was a bit of an oddity. Maybe it's an early one off a Passat or something, I don't know. But yeah, we couldn't find the right ECU with the right plug for it. So in the end, gonna scrap the original ECU, and I've got a K-Data. You should check these guys out. They do some amazingly cheap and really good quality MegaSquirt ECUs. MegaSquirt definitely got a bad reputation in the past. I was probably one of the, many years ago, ran a MegaSquirt built by a friend, and when I had an Eaton powered 16 valve Golf, and yeah, there was a whole lot of problems, it didn't run, and I knew other people that had other ones that were the same style that were built by other people, and they all had problems because it's like a DIY kit. It was, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It was open source. And yeah, and it was just, you paid for what you get for. It was homemade, soldering would go wrong. Now, the beautiful thing about K-Data, they do some plug and play ECUs for a lot of VWs. They do it for the G40, the G60, the original 8 valve. They do for the ABF and the VR AAA. I would have thought it's OBD1 maybe. I'm not sure if there's a difference. They also do for the early 20 valves with the ME3s with the accelerator cable. ECUs for that, because I don't think they control fly-by-wire throttles yet. And yeah, and the beauty of it, and they also do a lot of BMW stuff. Now the beauty of this is, unlike ECUs from the past, the plug and play ones work really well. That's what I got on Project Freebie. I literally just unplugged it, plugged it in, double checked all the wiring, fired up first time, came up with a starter map, put in my own map, and I'm enjoying that car massively with the ECU on it. Now, because these 2Es, they don't seem to do one, I didn't want to take the risk and use an 8 valve one. I thought, let me just get a universal one. And it's smaller than obviously the Bosch cases ones, and also it's weatherproofed. Whereas the Bosch ones that they do, they've kind of drilled a hole at the back so you can put the plug in and the communication plug in it. Yes, you can seal it up and stuff, but this is cheaper. And yeah, and all you have to do is literally, if you've got a good loom in your car, cut the plug off and just adapt it to fit on these plugs that they've got here, which are nice weatherproof plugs as well. They're really quite cool. And as you can see, there's nothing hand built here by Johnny at home. It's all proper printed board. Yeah, it's a really nice bit of kit for the money. Let's be clear here now. I mean, got this on the Christmas deal. I got 2 of them on the Christmas deal for the customers. And I think it came to about, before postage, it was about $369. euros. I mean, what are you going to get out there that is for that kind of money? Yes, obviously you pay for what you get for, but these stuff, I'll tell you what, I'm not disappointed with so far with the quality and stuff, and yep, and it's open source, and the software is, you know, improving all the time. I think it does canvas now as well. This from this latest version that I've seen. This is the 1.3 or something. It's their latest version, and I think it also does canvas control of some sort. So yeah, it's got Bluetooth options you can use on your phone and stuff. Yeah, check out the website, guys. I highly recommend it. So where do we stand with this GLI? Like I said, I had loads of problems with it. Now, what I'm going to do now today is we're going to actually take out the whole loom again, strip it all down, basically, even the engine part of the loom. I'm going to take out the whole loom of the car because I don't want there to be any issues with the wiring loom. So I'm literally going to go from the roots up, check everything, rewire it, do what I did with this one behind me. If you haven't seen that one, check out this one, the Type 19. It's also running a 2-litre 8 valve with one of these in it. And yeah, and we're just going to start from basics really. So first things first, let's strip it out of the car, the loom, the old ECU, everything, the fuse box, fuel pump relay. I'm just going to rewire everything so it's all fresh with this. And yeah, and just take it from there. All right, guys, I think I've talked enough. Let's get on with this. So this is the loom in its entirety. So the reason why I took one off that is because also I don't trust the car with these issues that the car had with it burn out the ECU. So I am not going to take any risks. And I'm also going to run a continuity check and make sure it's all fine and remove a whole lot of the wires that are not needed. And then make up a loom that runs the MegaSquirt, nice and simple. So to break this down a bit, so I can show you how we're going to simplify, or how I'm going to simplify this down, is that obviously goes to the engine, that's knock sensor. So first things first, I'm going to strip that back and get rid of this. These wires kind of run along here, and then this would have gone along the bulkhead, which would have fed the narrowband, and it also would have gone to the air meter, the MF sensor. So what I'm going to do is going to delete those, but also I need 6 wires to run to the wideband. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just doing this, it's going to actually go back on itself and run through this one that runs along, which will run along the top of the bulkhead, because this is for the coil. So then I'll integrate 6 of these wires to run along there and go towards the end on that side. So it's going to be all simple down, and this is not going to be nowhere near as long. It's probably going to be around here. The plug is going to be about there. So it's just going to be literally, when the loom is done, plugs will be here, and you'll have basically just that looking like that, with maybe that a bit thicker with another plug on the end, which is for the wideband. So it's going to look a lot simpler than it does with all of this kind of going all the way around. So after a good few hours, this is what the loom looks like now. So you've got the plug that goes on the side of the engine that feeds the injectors and idle valve and throttle position sensor and so forth. The 5th injector, I've repurposed it, so that's going to be the air temp.
added in the wideband plug. And then on the inside, that's what the plugs look like. And then this is just going to be trimmed down. And I'm going to redo the relays as well. So, because they're much simpler now, you don't need that fancy ECU relay, just need the standard relay with a fuse. So I'm going to make a new fuse box and new relays up and simplify the inside as well. And then this is just for the clocks, which I think is water temp and oil temp. That's going to go to the gauges he's got there and stuff like that. So that's those for that bit there. Yeah, and these are just basically power and stuff for the injectors, the ECU, fuel pump, and for the coil. Pretty easy. Okay, so first things first, I guess. I'm just going to disconnect the plug, put the bracket on, and get the actual engine, a little bit of the harness on. So we're definitely not going to need this anymore. So I've just loosened it off, put it in the boot because that's definitely not needed. So now I'm definitely going to have to relocate this screen wash bottle because we're going to fit Type 19 GTD airbox, which is really thin, similar to kind of what was there originally on like the Mark 1 GTIs. It's a really slim thing, and it'll fit here. We have to modify the bottom of it and make some brackets to hold it onto the chassis leg, but that should be fairly simple. But first things first, let's just remove that. And also remove this, and I think I can actually fit maybe the air temp sensor actually in this pipe here. And that's what it looks like with a GTD airbox in a Mark 1 Golf. So, you know, if you had, like you see here, 2E or AGG or even an ABF, the box would work just as well. Looks really OEM. What you have to do is trim those little bits that you saw earlier on in the video, and I made that little bracket for it. I actually sell these on the website, lower than anybody else by all accounts. I think some people on eBay, I think on German eBay, actually sell them for like 200 euros or something. Yeah, I think I've got these up for like 100 euros. So now moving on to the inside. So I simplified the wiring, got rid of the ECU relay, just changed it with relay 53, and removed some of the extra wires that was there. So now basically when you plug the ECU in, all you need is this yellow and blue wire, simple plug, you can't get it mixed up. This goes to fuel pump relay. This is basically, you've got ignition 12 here, which goes to the coil, and then we've got another ignition that comes off this relay here with a 10 amp fuse. It needs to be a 5 amp fuse. I need to get a 5 amp fuse, which now powers the ECU. So one side is for the coil, the other side's that simple plug there. And then the other one is, it comes off the fuel pump. That's how it does normally in the car. So you've got like, so basically off the fuel pump relay comes a big thick wire, feeds the fuel pump, but then also splits off and comes and feeds the injectors. So this feeds the injectors and the actual idle valve. And that's it really. So it's literally just 3 plugs, these 5 wires. So now I'm gonna plug these in. A bit awkward with one hand. Keys in hand. And done a few bits off screen, or off camera should I say, not off screen. And as you can see, the fuse box is back up and the ECU is in its position more or less. I haven't put the central console on because, yeah, I still need to do a bit of little fiddling with the car. Now, ultimately, I can't drive the car and set the car up as I would like, simply because it doesn't have a current inspection or MOT or whatever you want to call it. I don't think the car's even got insurance either. So, yeah, it's actually not road legal at the moment. As well as I think it still needs a whole lot of issues with it as well. And also it doesn't even have a lambda sensor. So I've literally just gone by sound, smell, I wouldn't say taste, but yeah, looking at the spark plugs and kind of got it idling really well. I'll turn it on for you in a minute so you guys can see. Yep, and this is what it looks like more or less. So as far as my part is concerned, which was getting it running, we had the problems in the first video. I don't know if you actually saw that, it was quite a while back now, where the ECU had burnt, the timing was out, the pulley was wrong, it was a whole load of issues on this. We finally got it to the point where it does start, and you will see it starting. Yeah, this is obviously a little bit different to the one that you saw, the AGG, because it's a 2E, so there is no crank sensor. You're going to use the Hall off the Dizzy. It's a 4-window Hall. Also, you don't have simultaneous injection because you've only got literally one plug that fires all of them. And you can't even wire up differently. Not that you could with a 4-window anyway. Your resolution is quite small, but I think you maybe could get away with it. I'm not too sure, but anyway, it's just set up really quite basic. 1 pulse per rotation, or is it 2 pulses per rotation? I think it is. I can't remember now. But anyway, so that's done. Also, when I actually went to lead the brakes, because I had to do those brake lines at the rear, I had to fit a new master cylinder on it, and the gearbox as well is actually a different gearbox, where the diff had gone, the bearings had gone in the diff, and there was loads of play in the shaft that was leaking oil. So I told him, and he actually supplied me another gearbox, so off a Mk2 Golf. So yeah, just did that. Also did a little short shift for it as well. And yeah, all bits and bobs done. Now, moment of truth, turn the key, let's see what the cold start is like on this. That helps if I plug the battery in. So MegaSquirt plugged in, ignition on. Now, let me just double check what the cold start is going to be like. Yeah, that's pretty good. And hopefully it'll come down. As you can see, the temperature is only at 25°C. Well, I say only, but it's actually quite warm. It's quite a warm day today. The air temp's at 21. Yeah, it's quite a nice idle. Flip the throttle. Okay, could do with a bit more fuel. So what we're going to do is start up. We've got warm up enrichment. Just there. There you go, much better. Perfect. Yep, I'm happy with that. I mean, that's as far as I can go. Also, what I've done is, because I've got no lambda sensor, I can't really kind of gauge where stuff is going to be, and I haven't even driven it, so I can't even kind of do a rough thing. What have I done? I've set the rev limiter at maybe at 350 actually, not 4. Yeah, because like I said, there's no way I can test this in its current form. The customer's going to take it away, and so the customer's going to take it away, and then basically once he's kind of got the thing road legal, insured, and MOT'd, and all the rest of it, then I'll and the lambda sensor welded into the manifold. Then I'll plug the wideband in, and then we'll map this again. But as far as I'm concerned, for this moment, for these videos on YouTube, this is pretty much done. The convertible's actually finally running and ready to go. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ding-a-ling-a-ling, click on that notification bell, and be safe, guys.